go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here, right here again, on another day, another opportunity for us to find ourselves present and realize that it takes but a moment to change our mind. Yeah. Yesterday, me and Joe went on a little kayaking trip. And it took her some convincing, TBH. Took her a little bit of convincing me to actually get on the boat with her. Because it has been hot. I am a vampire and scared of the sun. Hey, is that Connor? Good morning. Holy 2 weeks. Holy 2 weeks?
2 weeks until my birthday.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, you talking about your birthday?
It's like legit, actually, too.
Exactly 2.
Like right under. Anyways,
Yeah, 13 days.
That couldn't be what he's meaning.
What's happening in the next holy 2 weeks, Connor?
Hey, contents.
Contents. Have you changed your mind? Has your mind been changed? You have some stuff.
Oh no.
It's probably just peanut butter.
Butter powder.
Mm.
Do you want cream in your coffee?
I mean, if you can summon some.
Is there not, like, that you used it all? Do you want Greek yogurt in your coffee?
Jossie. No, Electric Forest, then 4th of July. Oh, Connor went to Electric Forest. That's right.
Yeah, ask him how it was for it.
How was it for you? Like, let's not talk about what happened, because I think everybody that cares at this point knows. But how was it for you, right? I'm hoping that it didn't affect you directly. I'm guessing it did. It got canceled sooner, right? They said it was like the weather that made it go cancelous, but yeah. Yeah.
You want this?
No, thank you, my love.
Okay.
No, just black coffee will be fine.
Okay. Do you want honey?
No, thank you. Straight black for me. Appreciate you. Look at her missioning on that side, baking coffee for me. Condensed milk? Jeebies. Joe was like, yeah, Melt's been complaining that he's been getting fat. Let me put some condensed milk in his coffee, That's what she's been doing. She's been sneaking condensed milk into my coffee this whole time. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not me putting stuff in my face.
Milk could be really good in coffee.
Yes, it is. Of course. It's condensed milk. Condensed milk is good by itself. You can just drink it.
Is that a no?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I think I should remain like a little bit uncaloried.
Are we gonna fast today?
I was thinking about it.
Let's do it.
I was thinking about it.
Do it yesterday.
The reason I was thinking about it and didn't know if I wanted to follow through is because of that fish we made. Oh. But it should be fine for a while longer, right? I made fish.
And it's really good.
Yes, it is. Yep.
It'll be good still tomorrow.
It should be, yeah. Because Leafio. Yeah. Man, I feel like all of the bug bites I got yesterday are now.
Did you get bit by bugs?
I don't know, but I feel like I'm itchy a little bit. It's Leafio. I want hair like bros for real.
Got good hair?
Got good hair. Takes long though. Like, it looks good maybe like 5% of the time. The rest of the time it looks like I'm homeless. I got a scratch on my arm. That's actually like healed up pretty much when I was cutting grass. But it is dry. Thank you though. That's nice of you to say. I appreciate you complimenting the dude. That's very nice. Nah. Yeah, how we change our minds in the moment. Sigh, groan. God's been talking to me about returning to morning yoga, and I'm anxious about it for whatever reason, so I haven't been doing it. Thank you for the 100. That's nice of you. Yeah, God is not wrong, dear Sam. and God is right and stuff, I would love to have you here. I really would love to have you here. And now I'm telling you so you can nag me. And now I'm going to start nagging. I'm going to be like, it would be pretty cool to have you there and stuff. And I'd be like happy about it, seeing you in the class. I love you, Zhao. It's not too long, right? It's at most 20 minutes of practice a day. I know you have a baby. You got a baby. Maybe he can be in the room with you when you practice. I'm trying to like problem solve here with you, Sam. Maybe we can figure something out. Because as you said, we change our minds in the moment. Because it might be one of those things, right? Like yesterday, for example, going out into the lake on the kayaks. Jo really likes going out on kayaks on the lake. She likes it. She's like, yeah, this is great. I love it. I am actually a technology person, Like, despite what you might think, I'm actually a mega nerd. Mega bo nerdius, bo geekum. I'm like mega geek. I've always been a geek, right? Like, I was made fun of in high school for being one of the geeks and not wanting to play sports. But while we're playing sports, I'm like, you're in the sun. Hey, know that, right? You're in the sun right now, and you're sweating, and you're touching other people. You know that, right? You understand that that's what's happening. And I just couldn't get with it. I couldn't, for the life of me, integrate in that way of being. However, I could spend literally 12 hours a day playing games with no fatigue, right? I was just like, yeah, this is the best. So that part of me is still very much alive. The part of me that wants to just stay inside and, not be outside kind of thing. However, Joe does like being outside. And I like going on hikes, right? It's like there's a duality because I gamify it as well. I see it like as exploring my map and seeing what's out there, right? In high definition. So I basically like let her know that okay, fine, I'll go kayaking with you. And then we did. And as Sam said, how we change our minds in the moment. I went from, I don't really know if I want to do this, to this is great and I love it. This is the best thing ever. It was perfectly overcast, right? We didn't get too much direct sunlight. We were sticking next to the tree lines, so we didn't have that direct light on us either. We saw storks. I think it's a type of stork. Big, tall boy bird. We saw bunny rabbits next to the shore. We saw gooses and geeses. We saw duckies and duckums. We saw the schools of fish. Bunches and bunches of schools of little fish just swimming underneath our boats or our kayaks. What else did we see? We saw a rainbow. Yeah. As we were on the water, there was a rainbow casted onto the clouds. It was magnificent. Oh, yes. And then, of course, the sunset colors, those beautiful oranges and purples and oranges. There were so many cool colors everywhere. It was nice. And it was one of those moments where I know it happens like that all the time. Maybe you have had experiences like that too, where you're like resistant to going and doing something. You're like really like, I don't know if I want to do that. And you have like a whole narrative in your head about how uncomfortable it might be, or how the bugs might eat you alive, or how the sun is going to beat down upon you, or how the heat is going to be unbearable, or how the humidity is going to make you feel like you are one of those hot dogs in the water. But no, none of those things happened. And as such, that moment changed my mind, and I suddenly became a kayak person. I suddenly envisioned myself being out in the kayak all the time. I also envisioned getting myself some technology so that I can propel myself without having to use my arms. Because I think that's the real bottleneck. I could probably continue to explore indefinitely, but my arms would get record first. Condensed milk is good by itself. Bro, what? You've never drank condensed milk? You need to get on my level, Sam. 1 cup of condensed milk will set you right. Set you right into diabetes. Unironically though, we as kids, like there was this what do you call it? Entrepreneurs Week. We would have Entrepreneurs Week, where we would have to like start our own little or create our own little product, and then sell that product to the school. All right. And one of the very popular products that were always getting sold is syringes filled with condensed milk, and then you top the edge of the syringe, not the needle, just the plastic bitty, with a jelly top. Yes. Yes, and I had my fair share of syringes filled with condensed milk. Probably got a bunch of microplastics in my brains because of that, but what can you do? What can one do? No, we got evacuated. Then we went back in while everyone was asleep, and they put on a few more sets. It was one of the best moments of my life for sure. Top 5 at the very least. It was your very first electric forest, Connor? I do hope so. Thank you again. Bless you, friend. Do you remember me? Yes, Toxicated. Hey, I give free haircuts. Nice. But I use a weed whacker. I'm gonna have to say no thank you, Frankie D. Compelling. Very compelling, but no, but no. And my brain was fried, but it was spiritual awakening, I would say. No better place to do it. Yeah, I hear you, friend. I'm happy that you had a fun time, at least, Connor. Darren saying, hello, y'all. Hello, Darren. Indigo here with us, too. Hello, friend. Did everyone have a good 4th of July? Mine was pretty chill. My case, Frederick says. Okay. I miss all the art band friends. Hope they're doing well. That's wholesome. Yeah, we've gotten to meet some of them. Some of them have joined us here, just like randomly, like found us here on the YouTube live. Like, wait a second, I remember you from our band days. You're still doing it? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I'm still doing it. I'm going to be doing it forever. Yes. You look like Jack Black's son. That's a massive compliment. I want to start like doing a bit, you know. I want to start like singing, screaming at the top of my lungs. Skip up, but no, I don't remember that. I'm just looking for a long time. Can you show me the plants and the setup in the background? It looks so pretty, like the terrarium and stuff. This is not exactly a terrarium. He looks zesty. You bet and believe. I got maximum bow zest. Oh, so much zest up in this shiznit. There is a big, this thing was one big pot. And out of that one big pot, all of this is growing. And then there's like a few singular duties as well. Yeah. Some of them might need water again soon. We've been keeping them alive for the most part. It's been pretty nice. There you go, Artsy Malone. I don't know if you want to see more. I have some in that corner as well. You need a plant fish tank there, because there are growth lights already. Yeah, even can work, probably. Let me see. I'm going to keep zooming until there we go. My lens changes. Yeah, and there's a little corner full of them there too. That one is pretty cool. It's like leading towards the light though. I watered my pancake or Chinese money plant today. Nice. Money abounds very soon, I'm sure. I hope we get to meet up sometime soon, Mel. We're pretty close. So if there's an EDM concert you want to hit up in the area, we should plan something out. I think we deserve it. Connor, I'd be super stoked to do something like that. I was actually pretty curious. I have been curious been thinking about how curious it is that there's not more small-scale festivals. In South Africa, we do a lot of like 600 people kind of festivals. I think it's because of the scale, probably, right? Here in America, you have to have like really good everything to get people to actually consider coming out to go and visit your event. All right, you have to have good speakers, you have to have screens, you have to have visuals going. You probably have to have all of that stuff if you want to do an EDM festival. And renting all of that equipment is prohibitively expensive. Right, it's going to cost a few $1,000s. So with that in mind, people probably do not do it because it's just too expensive to do small-scale festivals. Maybe there are a bunch. Maybe I'm just capping. Maybe I just don't know about them. Because in South Africa, I've never went to a festival that had more than, I want to say 600 people. All of them were very small, very like intimate, more community-driven, right? Less corporate. And that's kind of what I look for. So if you know about any festivals like that, Connor, I'd love to go to one. I need to check my other ones out, but my pancakes were saggy. It's the best way to water them is when they start to sag. Jesus loves you, bro. That's nice. Thank you. I'm sure he loves you too. I think he loves you less every single time you tell other people. I think so. Pretty sure. Wait. Yeah. I have a direct line with him actually, and he lets me know that it's actually not about him. It's actually about, what's that? The I am? Oh wow, how about that? That's news. Not actually news. Why you think that? Let me listen. He says that every time you preach to another person, and I see your name is Preaching with Powell, you do the message a disservice. Uh-huh. Not only a disservice, he says, but also you end up pushing people further away. You're not actually closing the gap. Everything is about him, actually. Everything is about you, actually. Preaching with Powell. Technically, right? If you really listen to the message, God died for you, right? In that way. For you. So that your sins may be forgiven. All right? If you weren't sinning, then what did he die for? I should not continue this line of reasoning. I'm gonna roll it right back. We got Gabby Goose saying, tuners, did you get a doggo? Wondering. BSF saying good morning to you, Gabs. Hello and good morning, sweet peas. Hey, Gabby Goose, nice having you. Well, I just have to plant the seed and we will water it. No, bro. The seed has been sown. Right? Like you're not jumping the gun here. Like everybody and their mom has heard about Christianity. All right, the seeds have been planted. All right. If you believe the next step is for it to be watered by God, then let it be watered. All right. If you keep sowing more seeds over the seeds that's already growing, you're creating things that compete. All right, stifling growth. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about that, Preaching with Powell? Really think about it. And I'm not even trying to be that facetious. I'm like having a little bit of fun with it, being a little bit playful, a little bit like, but seriously, like actually seriously, right? If what you want to do is convert more people to your religion, this is not the way. All right, fortunately not. That's why we glorify him. Yes. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. Good morning, gal. Preaching. You're preaching. You don't even listen. Preaching with Powell. We appreciate your viewpoint, but we don't allow proselytizing here. It makes people uncomfortable. So I'm going to ask you to remember Jesus and behave like him and be kind. Yes. Yeah. Jesus taught his message. He didn't, like imagine, can you just, let's do a little bit of a thought experiment, right? Imagine if instead of Jesus being the person that he was, right? If he was a person, if he existed at all, right? The story. Let's run the story. The story of Jesus. If that story of Jesus went, instead of him healing the blind, making the lame walk again, auto-generating a bunch of food from a small sample size, uh, turning water to wine, sacrificing himself for the sins of humanity. Instead of doing all of that, he just like walked around and go, "Hey, have you considered believing in me instead of doing all of that stuff you're doing? How about believe in me?" All right. You think the story would be meaningful? You know, Jesus just walking around is like, "Hey, everybody, believe in me instead. Right? I'm the best. And just me. Everybody, everybody acknowledge it right now. Right? No, because that wasn't Jesus's message. Right? He never made it about himself. And even the lines that people are like, "Yo, look, he's making it about himself." He's saying the words, "I am." The I am. The I am is the way to heaven, right? The I am is the narrow passageway through which you have to pass through to find yourself getting to God. And ego comes alongside riches, right? That's where the whole trying to put a camel through the loop of a needle, right, comes from. Because if your ego is so large, right, that you forget that you are the I am, then you cannot pass through to the other side because you're holding on to this baggage of the self. All right, that was Jesus' message, not me. I am, like me is the way, right? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Even if that was what he was trying to say, like he doesn't understand grammar. So yeah, take that. Take that with you, friend. Consider what I'm saying. My rent's got a new puppy, so I've been going back home to take care of it every now and then. Another golden. Missed you though, Goob. Hope you're well. That's nice. My boy, I really dig that solid orange scarf. I like the combos, the blue and the purple. The orange, it pops. What's the topic? You like it? Thanks. I thought it was gonna be good. These are my favorite colors. Purple and orange are my favorite colors. This one definitely has some extra bitties, but yeah. This scarf was a gift from Merman. From the mountains of Colorado. Yeah. And his beloved Stephanie, I believe. They're the ones who sent me this. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? It's been like 4 years ago now at this point. Bro, you dope. Thank you, Elvin. That's nice of you to say. I like showing up here for the presents that we allow ourselves here. Thank you for allowing me some of your presents too. You're not being prosecuted for being Christian. You're not. There's no earthly oppression for you to trade in for heavenly riches. Just stop. Yeah. Preaching. Are you a person? I don't care about your nonsense that you don't understand and just repeat. Yeah, maybe. I feel like there is a little bit of it where they're not people anymore. Right? Like they're just like talking heads. Right? And I don't know if it will help for them to like consider what it is they're doing from the lens of like just supplement anything else, supplement spaghetti monster, right? uh, meatballs and spaghetti monster out in space, right? Supplement it with that and then do the exact same thing, right? So instead of reading the sentence the way that you wrote it, I'm gonna go, well, spaghetti monster has more authority over anybody that's telling me to stop. So I'm going to do what Spaghetti Monster said and not what you said, even though I respect you. You see? The exact same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference, right? The only difference is the attachment you have, all right? And if you can have cringe, if you can have a sense of, I don't think that's right, for someone wanting to proselytize Spaghetti Monster religion, right? Then the same is true for you. The same is true for you. Like, we don't know. We do not know. And what I do know is that what you're attempting to do doesn't work. It just begets resistance. All right, so maybe that's your mission. And I don't know if you're still here, but maybe your mission should be learning how you can provide that information in a way that doesn't cause aversion, right? That could be the Christian's next thing, right? Learn how to not create aversion. Bob, Alicia, are you orange belt like in martial arts? No, definitely Bronco colors. Bronco, like the car? Give me more context. I remember my dad once trying to convince me to believe in God by saying that I would be damned to hell if I was wrong for being an atheist, trying to use fear to make me believe in God. Yeah, that one was tried on me as well. My dad's favorite one is like, if I'm wrong, then nothing happens. But if you're wrong, then you go to hell forever. And I'm like, okay. Those are the options. Cool. I guess so. Do you believe in God? I believe that we're all God, Donzani. I don't think there's any separating us from God. All right. That's why I get so uppity when people want to tell me, no, this specific part of God is the only God that's the real God. All right. All of the other God that you have seen in your life, right? God in the form of a beautiful sunset, God in the form of rays of light being caught by clouds, God in the form of a whole planet sustaining a life on it, right? None of that's God. No, this imaginary idea that I have been convinced of since childhood, have been indoctrinated into, all right, this is the real God. And to that, I'm like, okay, if you want to believe that, that's your directive. But stop trying to make other people believe it. If it was true, that's the one thing about truth as well. Truth doesn't need you defending it, right? God doesn't need you to defend him, right? Because he's literally God, literally, all right? Like, imagine trying to get defended. Imagine being God, the almighty, all-powerful, omnipotent, right? Literally, it's just like so giga-chatted that you freaking energy is coming out of your pores, right? And then a human being is gonna be like, wait a second, step aside, everybody. I'm gonna help God or something. And be like, okay, human, alright, that's cute. What you can do, though, is you can help other people. Yes, that's very much in your power. You can help other people, all right? Instead of yada yadaing about repent or whatever, how about you give all of your money away? How about that, all right? No, Mel, I don't want to do that. Well, God said you should do that too. Yeah, he did, all right? Doesn't take long to find quips about that. It's like, how about you give your money away to the poor instead? All right? How about you teach them how good God is by making sure they have housing? All right? As soon as the Christian community can come together and do stuff like that, then I'll give it another look. All right? If Christianity single-handedly solves world hunger, solves the housing crisis, I'll be the biggest Christian on planet Earth. I'll freaking gospel. I'll sing at the front of church. I'll learn how to play the guitar so that I can be an instrumentalist even. I'll praise and worship so hard. But until then, clearly it's not working, all right? Clearly all of these morals that has been being taught hasn't really sunk deep in, all right? So that's kind of my 2 cents, Connor. I mean, it does tell you to go and spread the word as a Christian. I think he is just doing what he's told, which is fine. We should all be grateful at others' viewpoints. I didn't think he was rude. I didn't think he was rude either, right? I just don't think he was original. That's the real thing for me, Connor. It's not about rudeness. It's about originality, right? Like, again, and I've said this before as well, tell me about how your life has been changed. Tell me maybe the way you used to be and how becoming a Christian has changed your life, right? And then we can actually compare notes. I can be like, I was or is like you used to be. So maybe there is room in me to adopt what you believe so that I can be more like you have changed, right? But because that's never the case, Not one time have I seen someone bring that kind of narrative to me. I just do not resonate, right? Because it's just talking points, right? Like you can, it's like freaking QAnon or APAC. It's just like, oh, cool. You're just regurgitating stuff. Just regurgitating. Those are not his viewpoints, but things repeated over and over. Thank you, Darren. My point exactly. No, but I do believe in something. I believe there are things out there. And I do believe in reincarnation. Here you go. We all have different opinions, and it should all be welcomed and debated respectfully. Just personally, I know a lot of Christians, my entire family. Every single person that cares about me from a familial perspective is a Christian in my life, Connor. Every single one of them. And they have tried with me as well. And I do the same thing with them. I'm like, I hear you, but where is you? Where is the personality? Just personally, I know a lot of Christians, and they're some of the nicest people I've ever met. Yeah, sure. And I'm not saying that that's not possible, all right? But I've also met a lot of people that were very nice that weren't Christians either, right? Technically, all of my friends, my very close friends, none of them are Christians, all right? The people that I think are nice enough people that I want them close to me and in my life actively, right? None of them are Christians. So in that way, right, it's like a matter of perspective, Connor. And depending on what world you grew up in and what environment you find yourself within, you will have effect like that. Connor, I appreciate that feedback. We'd had other community members voice repeatedly that kind of thing here makes them stop contributing and stop wanting to be here that day. May you be blessed by spaghetti monster noodle appendage. Yes. Spaghetti noodle appendage puts his noodle on your forehead and blesses you. Dan saying pizza rolls in the air fryer, pepperoni flavor and ranch on the side, or even better, sriracha. A ranch and sriracha mixture. I had some pizza yesterday, and I woke up this morning feeling like I'm gonna die. Like my poor stomach was like, right? My stomach was the equivalent of an old man using a stick to walk. American food is not good for you, bro. Oh my goodness. The more American food I eat, the more I get changed. Very soon, I'm gonna be riding a truck. Very soon, I'm gonna be having the reddest hand on my head. Spaghetti. Mel, that was exactly what he said to me when I started becoming fascinated with reincarnation and Hinduism. Yeah. Because again, that's the talking points they've been taught, unfortunately, Indigo. Right? They watch videos of people that have also thought about it a lot, right? They click on videos that are titled Christian destroys atheist millennial or libtard, I don't know. And they'll be like, I'm gonna click on this one. This one's gonna be good. This one's gonna be a good one. And then they listen, and then they internalize all of those talking points. And when I start hearing those talking points come out, I instantly go like, oh, there's no original thought here. You have not spent a moment actually thinking about the problem, right? And because of that, it doesn't help necessarily, well, at least it hasn't helped in my life, to try and get them to actually think about it the way that you have thought about it, right? So they just kind of will perpetuate. They'll be like, yeah, that thing you said, I'm not going to think about it, but here is what I've been taught how to say that's opposite. I have no problem with it if someone can actually bring in some real life experiences. Indeed, Darren. Did we say the same thing? I feel so. Dan, are you doing wretched things for breakfast? What? The flying spaghetti monster is real. All of his, and yes, I said his prophecies have come true. No, Denver Bronco. He said you got that scar from someone from Denver, right? Colorado, I think. Let me see that snail, mushroom, castle, fairy, sparkle wizard. I don't know if I can show you my snail, mushroom, castle, fairy, sparkle wizard. That's top secret, actually, Justin. You have to pay extra to see that. Darren, it's more the fact that they get told how it is here, and they keep trying to push the issue because they think they can trade in that suffering for glory. It's transactional for them. Some of them, at the very least, right? I've seen it in my dad a lot. Just like, it's relentless. It's relentless. And the cool part is that they argue with each other. I don't know if that's the cool part. Unfortunate part, I think they think it's cool, right? They argue with each other. They argue with each other. I've been in the church world my entire life. Literally since I can remember, I've been forced to go to church every single Sunday. And the more I went, the more I learned. And the more I learned, the more I started asking questions. And the more questions I had to ask, the more uncomfortable the adults became, right? Because they realized that there is a bunch of logical fallacies in what it is they believe. And a literal 12-year-old could start spotting those fallacies. I was like, wait a second. If God is almighty and all-knowing, then why would he create Adam and Eve in an environment and then tell them about this plant that they shouldn't eat, but he knows that they're gonna, and he still puts them there, and he still keeps the tree there, right? I was like, as a 12-year-old, that started not computing to me, where I'm like, huh? Huh? Remember? Manipulation? So yeah, that eventually led me to, pushing back a lot. And now, at this point in my life, I've also seen how much disagreement there is amongst themselves, right? That they might still believe in the same God, but they still believe in different interpretations of the message, right? So in that way as well, it's combative. Combat, are you wearing a colander on your head right now? Pretty much all religions say they are the right one and you will be punished for not believing it. But we are all human beings that have complex beliefs and values, so we don't reduce those ideas. I think it's good for us to take even, right? To take from those ideas and implement what is valuable, right? For example, do unto others as you would like done unto you is one of the most beautiful Christian messages that is actively ignored by most of them, right? Because again, would a Christian want a Hindu to keep telling them, hey, actually you're wrong. Actually, Hinduism is the right way. When you need to repent towards Hinduism. Otherwise, you're going to go into Hindu hell, right? Get ready, right? Do you want that as a Christian? No? Huh. Neat. Maybe then you shouldn't do that then. Maybe just maybe, right? It's something as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. I think that's what we're going on about, Connor. It's like doing unto others as you want done unto yourself. Well, no, I'm not wearing any Denver Broncos stuff or orange right now. I have less than respect for road Christians who willingly humiliate themselves to try and manipulate God into loving them more. That's hilarious. Yeah, look, God, I was a good Christian. I kept enraging people. Look, I kept fighting them on something that they had clear boundaries on, Now I get more heaven, right? No, I would just label myself as spiritual. I take from anything and everything that I find fascinating. Exactly. Dehumanizing people based on beliefs isn't what we should do. Should be about even if they believe some things that we don't agree with. Where was the dehumanizing factor there, Connor, friend? Like, seriously, right? I was trying to make him human. I think it's dehumanizing to just repeat talking points because that's not human. That's not a human. That's like scripture, right? That's talking points. That's not human. None of that is human. There's no personality. There's no actual humanity in just repeating the same bullshit over and over again, all right? So I was asking for the human. I was like, tell me about you. Tell me about you as a person, right? Tell me about your human experience. That's what I wanted. There was no dehumanizing happening here. No, Sam, I'm at work, but my words remain as they were spoken into the world. Dude, they always try to make it a true economy with that it drives me bananas. Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero. Yeah, 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 yeah. When do the thing that you're talking about, like, well, I'm right, than this. And if you're right, then there are infinite options. No, just two. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I believe that there probably is like multiple different even heavens out there. Right? I have no reason to believe that, but from my personal experiences, it has become clear to me that what we consider heaven isn't the same thing from person to person. Right? Right? Just think about that. Nobody has the same tastes. Nobody has the same tastes. Right? So what heaven is to you will be something else to another person. Right? So in that way alone, it feels like a very personal thing. All right. Again, and I feel pretty like personally, religion is very impersonal. Of a heaven. Agreed, cartoons. Dehumanizing people on religious grounds is totally unacceptable. Dehumanization is only for those of us strong enough in the dark side to see our enemies' weaknesses and exploit them. Dude said we didn't know. The Holy Spirit definitely doesn't know a thing about me. If you want to welcome those predictions. Okay. Agreed, Darren. Because that is kind of like a part of it as well, right? The Holy Spirit in my life has given me so much, right? And the Holy Spirit is, the way that I see it, is that it's the part of me that is a spirit, right? That's the Holy Spirit. It's the part of me that's spirit. There is the part of me that's flesh. There's the part of me that's ego, right? You got things to say. There's the part of me that is mind, right? My perception of my reality, consciousness, we can call it as well. And then there is the part of me that is spirit, right? And that spirit speaks as well. That spirit has wants too. That spirit grows from this experience, right? And if you really do quiet yourself, it's impossible for you to not have an experience or get to know that Holy Spirit inside of you. And I feel like the fact that there is this hubris, this like if you're having a spiritual experience and it's not through my religion, then it's actually Satan. All right, it's actually the devil convincing you that you're having a spiritual experience or something. All right, it's so contrived, and it's just like circular. I mean, we've talked about this now for freaking 20 minutes. You can keep talking, and I think that's part of it. I think people like that. I think that's what they want. They do want it to just perpetuate and perpetuate and perpetuate. There are exactly two groups of people that's okay to dehumanize. Nazis and child predators. Yeah. Love from New Zealand. I am 55 and hi, Ranji. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. That's fair. I have talked with a lot of Christians who have told me their personal experiences and it's original. Totally agree with the Nazi predator claim. Some things just take your agency away. It's Sri Ransha. Sri Ransha. Shira. I'm gonna get Shra. But I just think that there are people who only know the dogma, but some people take it seriously, like we do with our spirituality. It's all the same game at the end of the day, as Alan Watts says. Exactly. There we go, Connor. Now we're back on track. It's all the same game, right? Right. It's like I'm playing the game. Right, and then someone else is like, "Hey, oh, you're supposed to play the game like this," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm like 28 years old right now. I've been playing the game this whole time, a success memory, right, without having to play it the way that you think I'm supposed to." And I think that's where the dissonance comes from, right? If there was a real unity in that, right, of like realizing that all of us are just doing the best that we can, and there was compassion for that part of our experience, I think they'll probably do better as well, but it doesn't seem like there is. I did just that. I asked him to share his experience and not repeat what he has heard. Exactly. Good morning, fine and friendly folks. Having a coffee and lurky listening. Disguise this work. And Joe Bow, missed your friend. That was true. Well, my dad has been Christian his entire life, from my knowledge, so I don't even think it was like libtard stupid TikTok or whatever. But yeah, I get ya. Just stuff that's been spread over and over and over. Yeah, been perpetuated for generations upon generations, right? And one of the biggest things that's a really good way to understand why it has perpetuated the way it has is the analogy of a warm stovetop or a hot stovetop, right? As a child, you come into this world not knowing anything, not understanding something as simple as a stovetop can be hot. And then you have these entities you call your parents that provide you with knowledge about this world, that facilitate your survival. And if you so dared to go against their wisdoms, your mom tells you that thing is hot and it will burn you if you touch it, and you go, oh yeah? And you touch it and it goes, tss. Thank you, Karina. That's nice of you. And it goes, tss. All right? Suddenly, your brain will register, oh, wait a second. My parents are right. They told me that this thing will burn me if I touch it, and it burned me when I touched it. So they must clearly know what they're talking about. They must. All right? And then that same parent tells you if you don't believe in this and that, then you're going to burn in hell forever. All right? And you just had the moment of burning your fingers on the stovetop. So, yay, maybe she's right. Maybe I am going to burn in hell if I don't believe this thing that she believes. And then you start to internalize and internalize and internalize more and more of the talking points. And before you realize, you're not your own person anymore. You are this appendage of a other thing, right? And it uses you like a sock puppet, all right? It uses you to perpetuate its talking points, uses you to extract wealth from you, right? You have to tithe. 10% of your wealth now forever is ours because of what you believe. Come on. 10%. 10% is mine. Oh, come on. Otherwise, God's going to be mad. He said, come on. Right? What else? What else? It's also the amount of like mental real estate that's being taken up as well, right? It's like you like load code onto your person that you run forever, right? And that code executes in proselytizing, that code executes in tithing, that code executes in worry, fear that you're gonna go to hell if you're not right, if you're not doing it the right way. Good morning to you, Prairie Wolf. It's nice having you here too. Some people are Christians in name only because that's the group that they're in, and that label protects them. Knowing your dad, Indigo. Yeah, I'm annoyed. This is like the 4th time that the back-end engineer has committed to a demo with our directors before actually finishing anything. That sounds frustrating. Yes. More needs to be done. I chat, I have a banana, I'm outside, I'm on my breaky break from twerky, worky, galvany goose. That's nice. I hope that you're chilling. What's up with the bananas, bro? Bananas are like your main fuel source. You must not get cramps. I think I've been cramping because I don't have enough potassium in my body. Do you suspect some garden variety of fucking not happening, man? I feel like we all grew up in a Christian society. There we go. Yeah. So we can only say things about that, but literally every viewpoint has its problems, and there is always good to be found. There is a reason it lasts. The oldest society we have on planet Earth right now, Connor, is, drumroll please, Chinese society. All right, and it's been wild. It's been pretty rough for a long time. All right, there was a lot of infighting and war and killing each other. However, they're now the most powerful society on planet Earth. They have the highest production volume of everything. like all of the precious metals, all of the rare earth metals, all of the like renewable technology, all of it. They own all of it, right? 95% of the production volume of planet Earth, right? And they're not Christian. They're like the opposite of Christian, even. Sometimes they're like very much not Christian. There is definitely Christian factions in China as well, but the actual society that built all of this successful integration, right, is not doing so on the back of Christianity. Like one country that is, right, is actively burning fossil fuels as much as they can, starting wars, right? So even with what you said is true society, combat. No, Connor, even if what you said is true, right, that, oh, this is our Christian society, what is becoming more and more apparent is that it's not working, right? That it doesn't facilitate the well-being of its people, right? Which means to me that it's wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. If it was working, the reason it's dying, right, is because it's not working. And it has been dying slowly but surely. But as you know, Sam said, it's a group thing. It's not even about the actual believing. It's about being in the in-group. Contooners and Prairie Wolf and Dan, Sam, Diggity Darren, Wombat Combat, Indigo, Pro-Wo, all above and below, here and there, now and later, MeltMore. I hope you smile big today. That's nice. Yo. Thank you for sending some love. He just pushed out code that's missing an entire endpoint that's critical for the UI we agreed on. And the demo is Thursday morning, so he's got to add code, test it, deploy it, and then I can start working. That sounds great. I love waiting on other people to start working. Gabi doo love is true. Greetings from the Holy Land. Thank you, Edamar. Greetings to you. No, Sam, he's really smart and hardworking. Just consistently overcommits us, overpromises consistently. Oh, that's rough. Joby Bo. In the corporate world, I underpromise and overdeliver. I'm the same way. I love my job. I'm happy to hear that. Gobs, man, it makes me happy to know that you're enjoying what you're doing. There are some disturbing Bible things we had with his case as well. I think about it often, and I don't make him the godly man he wanted to be. He thought about it a lot. Yeah, well, I love that. Certainly, religion tends to play a big part in mental illness, in part due to the faith required to fully accept it. Yeah, I've never had a last name nickname before. That's cute. Oh, GBs. I don't know, Mel. Repeating talking points is a very effective way to propagandize, and humans have been doing that forever. Just because it's cheap and shitty doesn't make it any less human. We're cheap. No, I don't think it is human. I don't think that's the part of it that's human. I think, again, because a robot can do that. Anything a robot can do easily isn't human, right? A robot cannot feel. A robot cannot burst out in tears after watching a butterfly, right, get smashed against a window. That's a very weird example, right? But there is parts of me, right? Not every time, but parts of me that can be emotional enough to feel pain in watching a butterfly hit the window and get smashed, right? That's human. That's human. That's the part of us that's human. The part of us that can feel deeply, right? That can cry, that can celebrate, that can be exuberant, right? Saying the same thing over and over again, not very human. Robotic, right? If you want to be a robot, you can be. But choose to be your own at the very least, right? If you're going to be a robot, don't become a part of an army of other robots, right? Be a divergent, yes. Be a rogue. Be your own robot. Yeah, I like what you said about the golden rule, Mel. A lot of them don't really do it, even though they pretend to live. But it's also not original to Christianity. It predates it. I won't be surprised that it would. It is one of those good messages that needs to remain. I had to Dr. Seuss it up. I love it. Hey, boy, 3 is 1. Is this right? No, I don't know about that. Hello, peeps. Hello, Nancy. Good morning, Nancy Franchi. If you're not having a spiritual experience, then just consume some spirits. That's how you recharge the spirit. Yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Woo! I just got this shit burned out of me. That coffee is literally boiling inside this furnace. I need to put some cold water in there, I guess. Oh my goodness, that hurts. I'm used to my coffee having some cream in it. So it's like not like boiling water. Phew! I'm gonna quickly clean up the mess that I made. Man, my tongue is scorched earth. It has that feeling where it feels like it got turned into felt. Oh my goodness. Pain without love, pain can't get enough. Pain, I like it rough, 'cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. Don't do 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 do. You're sick of feeling numb. You're not the only one. Trust me and take my hand. My tongue is really burning. Do 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 do. Oh, I missed some. I am like suffering here right now. Like my tongue is like really not having a good time. I don't think I've burnt myself this bad in a long time. Somebody send help. Somebody send me help right now. I don't know if there's anything I can do. I just have to recover now. It's a little bit red. It's fine. It's okay. Put some ice in here now. So carefully taking a sip. It's no longer boiling water. Yay! All right, back again to it. We'd appreciate an explanation. Nancy Zane said hi too. Doing that, Terrence Howard. Math sounds like an excuse for being wrong. Yeah, that's the guy from the Snow Dogs. What's up? I just have had good experiences with Christians and most have had bad. It's all just a perspective of understanding. We're all trying to reach some kind of ideal. For some it's Buddha, Muhammad, Krishna. I think that's basically the gist of it, right? And I think maybe that's where the dissonance comes in, Connor. Because as soon as you want to convince me of what you believe, then it no longer is the pursuit of some higher ideal, right? It's more this ego competition to ensure, right, to validate that what I believe is right. And I feel like I am right because you now also believe the same thing that I believe, right? Where that's just not how things work. That's just not how any of this works. And then the price, some people use it for bad, but others for good. It's all perspective. This is true. Damn Jay, Snow Dogs, memory unlocked. Hi, Mighty Warrior. Hello, Brian. I grew up in the church, Connor. I have decades of experience dealing with people who only see the Bible as a means to get what they want by way of brute force and spiritual intimidation. That's all religious institutions in general. That's what we're saying, Connor. That's why we don't tolerate it. I won't tolerate rogue preachers in here being obstinate and refusing to conduct themselves appropriately here for any reason. If there is a hell, I promise you all that I will be there explaining the punchline behind every single joke through all of time in excruciating detail. If there is a hell, I'm going to make it the new heaven. If I have to go to hell, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to look at the guy getting tortured next to me and I'm going to be like, we got this. We so got this. You know, let's laugh in them demon faces. You know, fuck you demons. Think you can torture me? I laugh in the face of torture. All right. I'll make the demons. I'll torture the demons into non-existence. The demons will be like, they'll have to like ching chong cha, you know, rock paper scissors each other to who's gonna get to torture me next, because none of them is gonna want to, right? Because I'm gonna laugh maniacally at them. It's like, oh, cute. Oh, that's a cute little warm stick. Oh, oh, so cute. Is that the best you got, stupid ass? I'm gonna spit on those demons even. I'm not exclusive to Christians. I agree with you though. Are you Christian guys? No, probably not. Most of us probably not. I think all of us have Christian values, right? I think that's good, having some of the Christian values, but identifying with the full religion. You start biting the ears of huskies and then all of a sudden, +1+1=1, snow dog math. I eat a banana every day. Nice. For example, the joke I just made is that in hell, there are things that are unpleasant, and I'll be forcing you to listen to the explanation of a joke, which is also uncomfortable. Yes, he explained it perfectly. I'm getting dangerous with these appendages. So the punchline is that both hell and my explanation are congruent in the discomfort they provoke. I could go on, but I'll save the rest for hell. Yes. Dan, the over-explaining of that level joke is a breath of fresh air. The tangible, breathes life into me. And that one that is Christian is burning through fossil fuels and starting wars. James Madison has entered the chat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, Sam. You know that I know that you know. I love all these young kids yapping into their phones. So many opinions, so little experience. Isn't that the truth, Jack? And yet, all of these young people are at least learning how to communicate, right? In a world where more and more of it will be AI, right? Where it's easier to enter the person who just sent you a message into a language model and tell that language model to reply, and then copy that reply and then send it to them. It's easier to do that than form your own thoughts. At the very least, people in this space are forming their own thoughts, right? It's your opinion that all of us have little experience and that we're, in your words, yapping, right? That's your opinion. And that doesn't sound like a very nuanced opinion, right? It's pretty bland, pretty uninteresting of an opinion as well. So the same thing can be said to you is like, oh yeah, these old people think that all we're doing is yapping and, you know, that we have no experience whatsoever. All right, it's like, then we're just causing separation, aren't we? All right, there's no gap for us to kind of like bridge. Maybe you can tell me, all right, the ways in which you've grown. What did you believe at my age that you now no longer believe, or vice versa? Do you believe in the idea that all of the religions should be respected? Their laws? No, definitely not. Yo, I'll stop you right there. No. And tradition to be respected. If that's the case, I would create a religion today and add millions to it and create creepy laws. Yeah. No. No, Ritual. Yeah, the you described, Joe, will provide the oxygen that strokes the flames of hell's inferno. You type it like it's a safe space enough for you to express your opinions. It is in the cab of your Ford F-250. But China is not a great example of treating people with fairness and dignity. Every large nation right now is doing imperialist actions and killing people based on beliefs. Yeah. Sounds like we should stop doing that, don't you think, Connor? What do you think is the problem? What do you think is the problem? Do you think religion might be the problem? A robot can make an omelet. Making an omelet isn't human. A robot can't consume and enjoy an omelet. That's the human part, dear Dan. That's the part that's human, all right? It's the actual experiencer. That's what makes us unique, is that there are some stakes involved, right? The robot can make, qualia, yeah, exactly. The robot can make the omelet, right? And I might not enjoy it. I might be like, this omelet's trash, right? Also, a human experience. I'm just saying that there's always good in religion if you find it, but there are humans, so they will bastardize it to their own ends. Yeah. And again, religion is given power. That's the problem, Connor. Yep, good job. Anything a robot can do easily isn't human. I disagree. We exist. Existing is human. I mean, robots will exist too. That doesn't automatically make them human, I don't think, at the very least. Yeah, it's funny you're talking about Asian Christians. I think Jesus was Asian. I believe he was Asian before blonde hair and blue eyes and white. He was definitely not white. At no point and ever was Jesus white. All right. I feel like that needs to be really well understood as well. Because most of the Christians in the world, I feel, are probably white people. I might be completely wrong on that. I probably am completely wrong on that. I think maybe most of them would be Africans. Like, Africa has a massive Christian population. Nom nom nom, meet the spirits. I came as you got burnt, bro. I got like Borekieth. I had choking on kumquat flashbacks. Yeah, I saved John's life. John actually owes me his whole life now. That's true. Yep, he like legitimately choked on a kumquat to the point where he couldn't breathe. And I Heimlich maneuvered him until the kumquat was no longer inside of his body. Dude, I would have not been okay if you fucking died of a kumquat, John. I would have not been okay. That would have not been okay with me, dude. I'm happy that I saved your life. It's one of those things where it's like you get to action, right? When I need to jump to action, I jump to action. Like, we went from John eats kumquat to me seeing that he's not breathing to telling him to stand up and then getting behind him to start CPRing him. GBs. I just turned Melt's coffee to pure spirits. Yeah, it boreked me. I just think being hyper-focused on Christians is our experience growing up with it, while Muslims kill people and Jews kill people for nothing. It's all just human nature. I don't think it is human nature, actually. I think it's religious nature, actually, Connor. That's the whole point that we've been trying to make. It's not in human nature to do stuff like that. It's in the nature of tribalism, right? And tribalism is like religion. So when we're like, we are the in-group, and it's okay for us to murder the out-group because they're not a part of our in-group, all right? That's what religion does. That's what religion does, right? We used to do it with tribes, right? I guess our tribe versus their tribe. It's not human to just kill another human just cause, right? We have to dehumanize them in order to be okay with killing them, right? They have to be deplorable. They have to be evil. They have to be bad human beings. They have to be this, that, or the other. There has to be a reason behind our killing of them, right? That's the part that's human nature. And unfortunately, religion has been a really good tool for convincing us that the other people are worthy of getting killed. All right, that's why I'm not actually very cool with it. Rajul, I'm going to have to put you into the outside. You're gonna get banned forever if you keep spamming single letters in chat. You have been warned. 3 days grace. Oh yeah. Indigo, you know it. Yeah. I'm am I in middle school? Indigo, what's that? I'm going to lose my mind. All I hear is why. It's 3 days grace, Mouth. I know. Pain, 3 days grace. I think that's right. I don't think it serves us to call the cheap, shitty aspects of humanity not human. Need to dive deeper into Young. That's ignoring the shadow side. I wasn't trying to ignore the shadow side. For me, I was trying to talk about the the fact that we weren't trying to dehumanize, right? That was kind of like my point. It's the fact that we weren't trying to dehumanize this person. We were trying to get to the human behind it, right? And it's not human, at least in my mind, right? At least it's not the part of humanity, right? Maybe that's my shadow. It's not the part of humanity that I admire, right? I admire humanity for its creativity. I don't admire humanity for its ability to repeat the same talking points that's been repeated for thousands of years, right? That's not something that I admire. It's not something that I find impressive, unfortunately. And it's something that a robot can easily do. You give a robot a voice, you load all of the voice lines into it, and it will in perpetuity, as long as there's electricity, keep repeating those voice lines over and over and over again, right? If you can so easily give a robot that job, then I don't think we should be doing it necessarily, with our own time. The bees have been doing their job. Tomatillos are on their way. That's cool. Sending you blessings on your harvest. Honestly, the religion that has done the most damage to society is by far Zionism. Convincing is one thing, but genocide is another. Rastafari, you copy pasta the same message in here every time you come in. Show us that you're human or I'm going to remove you permanently. Yeah, I didn't even read the messages, all right, because it is the exact same copy pasta as you said. I think people are more than their religion. They're more than their opinions in politics. They're more than the mood that they have in that moment. There's so much to each individual, so many variables. And today's stream topic is about how you can change in a moment. In a moment, you can change, right? So that's also a big one of the variables, Joe. You're completely right. I think you're completely right. Chalk outline and all these others were also flooding my head at the same time. I also see album covers in my head, and I could see the album covers anymore listening to the 3 Days Grace, song that I was like mildly singing, because the cost is too high to be wrong when it comes to belief. It's woven into many and have years and a whole support system that proves to them that they are right and thus the rest are wrong. Exactly. It's like all of the churches. Every church that they see is proof to them that it's real because it's literally standing there, right? There's like churches that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, right, in the constructing of them. Right, those hundreds of millions of dollars put towards anything else, right? Put towards medical tech, put towards, food automation, put towards housing, all right, would have made a much better, bigger difference for the actual people. However, it wouldn't have bolstered the belief, right? Wouldn't have made them right. That's awesome, Joe. We're not labels, exactly. Maybe you could do yoga and teach it at the same time. Do you think it's possible? I do yoga and teach it at the same time every day. Hoopty hoops. Jesus wasn't the one who created the church. He didn't want institutions. He said the kingdom of God is within you. Not that the preacher is always right. Not that the preacher is always right. Yeah, again, we're on the same page, Connor. That's the part that's, like so clear. It's because that was Jesus' message. It's that the kingdom of God is within you. You are holding the keys to infinity. All right. That's the truth. That's the message. And you can just take that. You don't have to add more. I agree, Joe. I mentioned this ex-CIA guy that I've been listening to who blew the whistle on the torture program. And he said something really profound about people in declaring his opposition to torture. He told the story of a jihadist source he recruited in Pakistan by just befriending him. He learned that the guy had been stuck in Pakistan for 5 years and deeply missed his family in Cairo. The CIA guy revealed he was CIA and offered the man a new life of his family in exchange for intel. I share it because the CIA guy saw the guy's humanity, and this dude was a literal jihadist. People are infinitely more complex than their religion, standing, or any aspect of their identity. That I agree with completely. That's beautifully said. Yeah, they internalize it, John. That's the problem. They see their spiritual beliefs as part of their selves and as militantly resistant to reevaluating that. Yep. Because who am I if I'm not this thing? A lot of cool and smart people that are atheists and other religions probably went to hell if it exists. So they probably have air conditioning and whatever by now. A lot of engineers are atheists. That's actually kind of funny comment. They probably got air conditioning down there by now. I was just thinking about how you said you don't really get to do the class you teach and how the smile you had when you said it seemed more natural. I mean, on Sundays I practice silently. I still do the yoga, but I don't get to keep my breath as synchronous, right? So that part of the yoga I don't get to practice, but I still get to actually move my body, take care of it. Those who identify with whatever it is they think they are right now. So certainly in the now. But wait, there's more. Everyone on a journey. Everyone's changing all the time at the same time. There we go. Broke men saying, I hope God blesses you with success, prosperity, and health. May every step on your journey be guided by His light, and may you find immense joy and peace in all of your endeavors. Your well-wisher. You see, that's just good stuff. That's just good stuff. There's no proselytizing in there. There's just well wishes. And there's nothing that I can say about that other than thank you, broken men. Thank you for those well wishes. Sending you so much love in return. I haven't killed a single person, Connor, and I have been unreligious for like 14 years, right? So clearly that doesn't seem to be the correlating, factor. People disagree on the smallest things and kill over literally nothing and everything. It's human. Oh, no, why am I not killing people? Why have I not been killing people this whole time? Right? And do you even know the statistics? Do you even know the statistics of people killing one another? It's like 40 in 100,000 in like the places that the killing people numbers is high, right? Those are the numbers. So you want to tell me that we, all of us, it's human nature, it's just human to kill each other when the odds of it happening is 40 in 100,000, right? I personally don't identify with such small statistics, all right? If it was like, yeah, 100% of humans breathe air, I'd be like, yep, that I do. Breathing air. Yeah, that's very human. Breathing air, pretty human. Killing each other? How many people are actually doing that? Oh, well, the actual people getting killed are like 40 in 100,000. And then on top of that, the people that are the killers are more likely to kill again, right? So it's not like 40 people in 100,000. It's like 4 or 14 people in 100,000 that are willing to commit murder, right? So that says to me with very clear, definitive evidence that it's not the norm. It's not the norm. But then if you look at history, if you look at the history of our species, every single time we create some sort of in-group and we identify some sort of out-group, then the murder suddenly gets easy, all right? It's not human, it's ideology, all right? It's tribalism. It's dehumanizing the other side, all right? That makes it possible for us to kill them. We cannot kill other humans just nilly-willy without there being any consequences on the self. And remember that time Melt saved John with aggressive hug. Detouring real quick. I'm psyched for months of fire-ass games, people. We all got Halo Remake at the end of the month. We'll let it loose. I haven't played games in so long. I would like to, actually. I think it's time for me to start playing games again. Just have some fun with it. Howdy to you, Crom. It's nice having you. Yeah, the GTAs. Do you think if we abolish religion, it wouldn't be about borders or politics or anything else in history? Communist, atheist country have killed hundreds of millions. Yeah, again, dehumanizing. right? Is in making people less than what they are. Is in not seeing the value of the human being. Nothing would embolden religion more than abolishing it, literally. Yeah. Sorry, Rajul, didn't mean to get you in trouble. I just think it's an institution and power problem. I like your description. Thank you, Crom. Sending you love. See, that's the important difference, Mel. A lack of admiration for a trait does not make it less human. That just means you don't prefer it. Think that we're like splitting hairs right now. My point was, I don't find it. I don't think it's maybe as you said, right? It's not the part of humanity that I pursue. It's the whole NPC thing, right? I don't really like using that terminology because I don't actually believe it. But if you're regurgitating talking points, you're closer to an NPC than you are to a person, right? It's like a spectrum, right? On this side, thinking for yourself, human. On this side, repeating talking points, not human. But again, it's an illusion. The separation is an illusion, a class problem. I think the common thread is that evil lives in our hearts and teaches us to get to choose whether we feed that or ignore it, Connor. Many choose to feed it. Some choose to feed it, not many, right? I feel like that's one thing that the average person also completely misunderstands, is that if you actually look at the statistics of humanity, the average person is way better than you can give them credit for, right? That's what I believe. I'd love it if humanity could embrace the fact that we're all on the same team, right, Crom? And we can become a part of the planetary community. Indeed. Hey, Melt. Dat gaat redelijk goed met mij. Ik is nog niet vandaag uitgeskopt, nee. Je is bezig om goed te doen, oh? Je doet goed. Je ziet, dit is niet moeilijk, nee? It's not hard, not getting kicked. Absolutely, I just don't think I believe in a God is the root of all evil. I don't think I said that. I didn't think I said that either. We all have a dark side, like you said, no matter what you believe. As above, so below. I think we are in a world where there's everything, including darkness, right? And as a result, we see it. And because of our survival instincts, the darkness is the loudest signal, because that's the thing that actually poses a threat to our continued existence, right? Me taking a dog for a walk, helping an old lady over the street, doesn't threaten your existence, all right? So it doesn't matter in that way, the good that's happening, because the bad is the loud part that we need to be paying attention to. As long as it doesn't absolutely collapse society, I think automation and AI should do every job. I don't think a human should be stopped from doing that job if they really want that job. I agree, actually. I think people are going to enjoy their jobs more, having more AI help. That's my hope, at least. English in chat, combat. If you wish to have a private conversation with Mel, you should message him. We are all capable of being dehumanizing. We're all capable of being dehumanized. We have all of these potentials and they exist unconsciously. Until we integrate our unconscious with the conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate. I love that Jungian take. Are you millennial or Gen Z? I'm like right on the cusp between millennial and Gen Z. I'm not old enough to be a millennial, but I'm not young enough to be a Gen Z bias. Exactly, Joe. That's why it's best to dehumanize everyone. So you stay ahead of the curve. Dehumanizing based on grounds of sex, religion, and race is totally limiting. People be peopling. In fact, that humanity wastes its own wealth, with the top 5% having 90% of its wealth. We could have fixed humanity hundreds of years ago by having a global economy where people have their basic needs met. Yeah. Where we can actually live, especially now with AI and robots taking over most labor tasks and jobs. Exactly. I think it's still going to happen. I think it's still going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I think we're on the curve of almost like becoming a spacefaring civilization. And if you like look at the Star Trek universe, they literally almost bombed themselves into non-existence before they managed to become the Star Trek universe, right? I hope that we don't have to do that. Pinkies, fingies crossed, right? Cross all of your fingies quickly. Boom. Yes, two fingerable crossiums. Yeah, I'll fucking cross more fingers. I'll cross these fingers too. I'll freaking cross all. We don't have to nuke ourselves almost into non-existent. That we just skip that part and get to the making everything free. We might have to have like the particle like assemblers. Like that would be pretty cool if we can get those first. Maybe the singularity AI that's coming. I mean, AGI is gonna help us build it. That's the answer, Dan. Nobody gets to be human. You're all furniture until you earn the privilege back. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'll wish you a happy birthday tomorrow. Come back again. Melt got his sass thing. Says, happy birthday. Melt woke up feeling the same experience today. Oh yeah. I'm not saying that we all want to kill each other. I'm just saying that we do it for any and every reason. Could be a woman, could be self-defense from a crime. It's not just belief in God. I didn't say it's belief. I never, not once did I say the only reason people kill each other is because they believe in God. Not once did I say that. What I said is, if you look at history, belief in God or a God, right, believing in a certain religion has been a reason. Even in the Bible itself, God himself told his disciples to go and kill another nation because they were heathens, right? They were not believing what we believe, right? God in the Bible told them to go and kill them, right? I'm just giving you the facts as I know them, Connor. I'm not saying that that's the only reason it's done, right? I'm just telling you that that is the reason it has been done a lot. A lot of the reason it's been done is for that reason, right? People kill each other for petty things as well. That's definitely true. Mel, I hate to say it, but as much as you and I love each other, trap us in a pit for 10 days with no food and toss a cracker in and we'll tear each other apart for it. Dan, if we're in there for 10 days, you're already dead by the time the cracker hits the ground, though. I'm gonna be having that cracker like a snack afterwards, right? Like dessert. I would have drank your blood by day 5, probably. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm a monster. I would drink you. I would drink you like a Capri Sun. Oh. I'm sorry, why am I doing this? We would slaughter animals at the scale to keep ourselves from doing that. Killing, like everything, is relative. Agreed. Right? But I won't kill you because you've become dehumanized to me. I would kill you because I'm thirsty. Right? And I would drink your blood to make sure that I don't die of thirst. Right? But again, we don't average person isn't in those circumstances. Right? There's at least enough water for me to not have to do that. Killing is relative, you're completely right. But it's not something the average person is occupied with doing, right? Because we're not in those circumstances. However, we create those circumstances for ourselves, sometimes through religious belief, right? By believing that that other party is now evil and our God has told us that it's our rightful whatever to go and take their land. You know, that happens. That happens, unfortunately. And that's where the relativity comes in. Yeah, I feel it was taken out of context. Humans are capable of killing, but aligning with our higher consciousness, our higher self, that conscious evolution, and that is what we're here to do. Do you smank weed, man? Sometimes. Yep, I remember a take on being willing to kill if it meant saving one's family. Yeah. Melty, let's have a chat. I think there's a game you would like. Max and I have been playing it a bit to keep in contact. I think the computer we have at home should be able to play some games at everything. At the very least. Everything is relative. You're so right, Joe. We are all on the same time. Everybody is on their own fractal. Do you like to party? I used to. I these days like to go to bed at an appropriate hour. That's like my favorite thing to do. It's like sleeping enough. I love it. Love it. Agree, Joe. I think we gotta have totally unadulterated honesty about the human condition before we can work with it.
But if you say repeating love is true is NPC behavior, then I'm an NPC. Again, right? Love is true is like a statement that you make. It's like a reminder telling you that you need to repent because your Lord and Savior wants you to, all right? That isn't the same thing. One is I say this because it brings me hope. The other is creating a narrative that the other person needs to do something in order to get something, right? You don't have to do something to get something with love is true. It just is. It just is. There's nothing for you to do. It's already so. Your fingers have fingertips and your toes don't have toe tips. Yet you can tip toe, but you can't tip finger. That's funny. Yeah, it's true. Raven, literally all we do is party. I'm partying right now. Yep, falling into judgment is what limits perspective that we're capable of having in this infinite world with infinite possibilities. It's damning to come to the wrong conclusion. So instead, stay curious. A lot of sound-minded Christians are like that, Jovan. They choose right. They didn't jump on the Donnie bandwagon and they didn't get culty. But neither will entertain my perspective. My new family, pap, darling, is Albion, Reinstos, MJS. Of course. I crossed my fingers right as you did it, Lama. Nice. We got at least 2 fingers crossed. Please no nuclear warring ourselves into almost non-existence, please. Like they found a granule of the truth, and in the fear of losing it, they're afraid to hold more. My heart aches for them, honestly. Living that life would be easier with a more informed perspective. Humans are not inherently good or bad. Rather, our behaviors arise from complex societal and environmental factors. While there are instances of extreme violence or criminal acts, these do not define human nature. Yes, combat. Agreed. From the vantage point of biology, sociology, and neuroscience, we see that morality is shaped. It's not innate. It is a product of learning, of culture, and of circumstances. Yep, this is, I believe, too. And I do believe that our species is at a point where we have had enough learning, we have enough culture, we have enough expanding circumstances to not be that limited thing. How did the fly get in here with us? I'm gonna have to do something about it. I'm gonna close that door. A fly dares enter my domain. Little does he know that he has stepped into the lion's den. Alright, hot take. Whoa. Yeah. It's a good question you ask, quantum chance, but I think it's not one that I can answer because I don't believe. Hot take, I think a properly constructed and advanced AI would govern better, be a better bank, would manage global finances, nothing gets stolen, cut out corruption and human greed and ego. It's probably going to end up happening that way, right? Because again, the companies that do have AIs govern are going to be the ones that end up being more profitable quicker, right? They'll end up making more money. Less money will get lost or stolen or wasted, right? So that company will become more profitable faster. And then there will be like a competition to make sure that every CEO gets replaced by a machine instead. Hi, Combat. Thanks for keeping us grounded in the truth. That's good stuff. Christian nations were the first to abolish slavery, Combat. Why do I feel like that's not true, Combat? I'm not going to search right now, but I feel like that is not true. I might be wrong though. How you doing today, Iromi? I'm doing well. We're having some deep chats. Today's stream topic is about how things can change in a moment. You can change in a moment, right? And I feel like this conversation has had some of that. Keywords properly constructed. Slavery is still prominent in most other countries. Yeah, John, And who would and how would we determine the AI model is correctly trained? The alignment problem is the biggest problem. Yeah, most important parts in foolproof code. No external or malicious inputs from humans. I think we're probably going to do that with like, some sort of blockchain kind of stuff as well. Having verifiable proof that the AI actually is going to not blow your shiz up. Connor, I don't think they're gonna let us have that conversation, but I strongly disagree. Just know that look at Exodus 21, verse 20 through 21. Yeah. I mean, it's just history. We are the first to abolish. Who was the first to abolish slavery then? Oh, come on. How is preaching repentance not a reminder? So many religious nuts are also filled with hope when they preach for repentance. I guess so. No, it was democracies which had freedom from religion that stopped slavery. It wasn't Christian nations. If anything, it was those Christian nations who started it in the first place. Yeah, the Bible talks about having slaves a lot. Like a lot. Like a lot of having slaves, right? And very rarely did the Bible talk about, oh, it's not cool enslaving people. It was not cool abusing your slaves. They were like, don't abuse your slaves, but have them. That's fine. The Bible says a lot, right? Again, you think Christians started slavery? That's crazy take. It was all around the world. That's true as well. But again, that slavery culture made its way into the Bible, Connor. All right. And if you believe in the Bible, then you have to believe in those parts as well, right? You can't just cherry pick what parts of the Bible you want to believe in, you don't want to believe, all right? Because it's all the Word of God, apparently. I think AI would be a much better for humanity if it wasn't in power-hungry, greedy billionaire hands who don't give a shit about people. If it could write regulations, it would be great. Yeah, that's going to be a wild one. I don't know about that either. I did say Christians started slavery. Did I say Christians started slavery? No. Learn to read. John's proposition is literally the start of Terminator. Let AI govern us, proceeds to annihilate us. You said that it started in the first place, how I was supposed to take it. I don't think I'm being disingenuous. I'm just trying to understand. Guntoons, I said that those nations that stopped slavery were the same nations that previously allowed slavery. Christians don't just show up and be like, stop slavery, slave masters. The Christians were slave owners too. Yeah, exactly. Well, Haiti about its slavery, and like Haiti abolished its slavery, I guess, in 1905. You can't really necessarily track who was the first, but also American abolished slavery, not Christianity. Yeah, the power that a Pokemon compels you. Because humanity will never give power away, so it will always lead to violence. I'm just saying that if we could reach that peacefully by developing as the human race, it would be better. I still have hope that it's going to happen, regardless of all of these little micro squabbles that we go through in the meantime. America was a Christian nation, so wouldn't that logic track? Or am I crazy? America was not and has never been a Christian nation. No, America is not a Christian nation. You can look up the Treaty of the Tripoli. I'll put the quote directly. I like how there's so many perspectives, right? All of us have so much perspective. And as we come together in this space, it's like we know more collectively. And I think that's the thing that we should be stoked about, is that we know more here than we would if we were just on our own, believing our own bias, right? James Madison argued before the Supreme Court that the provisions of the First Amendment lay out very clearly that citizens are guaranteed a freedom to practice and to abstain from religion. Yeah, there is literally a sentence in our Constitution that bars the government from making any preference towards any religion. I'm saying it was a majority Christian. I know the Constitution. Then there's Congress shall make no law respecting religion, which makes it clear America is not a Christian nation. I like how Sam, Quantum Chance, and Combat Journey was like fusion highing, Vesica Pisces is seeing on something they can agree upon. The church's chief took my sage. It must have been good sage. Cantuns, that's just an utterly useless statement. Are Christians of the 1700s anything like modern Christians? Come on, man. Yeah. Sam, I have Dove individually wrapped milk chocolate. I need a Dove moment. Ronaldo lost, bro. You must suck. He must suck ass at this point. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna diss on Ronaldo. I'll get people mad at me. Unwrap one of them and tell me what it says, Hoopy. I learned that you are not allowed to eat shrimp, according to the Bible. Imagine taking a bath in melted Dove chocolates and it hardens and you get stuck and die. That sounds like a horrible death. Joel Barvo wrote it, the Treaty of Tripoli, ratified in 1797, which stated the government of the United States is not founded on the Christian religion. Sam's rapper, look how far you've come. Death by snoo snoo chocolate, not actually lethal. When I see you melt, I melt more and more. Good net. This is the point. The point of slavery in the Bible, if anyone is wondering, is just actually go read Deuteronomy. Sounds like Monday's problem. Now that's how you do it, combat. Thanks for the factoid. Now, nor South Africa nor USA remain in the World Cup. You lost from both sides. Look how sad I am and distraught. And like I don't know how I'm going to continue forward with a smile on my face. Look. Melty, you gotta acknowledge that love is true and repent to God. And both are just slogans, and slogans are most effective when repeated constantly. I think you're right on what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, right? But if a person could only say that, right? They could only be like, love is true. And there was nothing happening behind their eyes, right? There's no reason as to why it is they say that, why it is they believe that, right? The reason people believe and repent to God is because it's going to get you to heaven. But there's no evidence. There is evidence for love is true, right? And it's very easy to extract that evidence from yourself or just from paying very light attention to how the world is, right? And I think that's where it's different for me personally, right? One actually is based in reality. The other is based in a imagining. Chandra, hello. Welcome. I hope Argentina loses today. Jeez, Stone Aura, shame. Now, Judaism talks about slavery a lot because it's a culture oriented around debt. They do not get forgiven. They atone, implying even after temple ordained sacrifice, they're still in debt. Yeah. They only differ in their message, and that part I believe you have an issue with, but I hear you focusing on the method, repetition, as opposed to the message. I think I just said it, right, Dan? Like for me, it's about being able to back why it is you're believing this thing that you're repeating, right? If you're just repeating it because you've been taught to repeat it, then it's not human. If you repeat it because you believe it, right? You understand how that implies, right? How it applies to your reality. It's an act of self still, right? Because when I say love is true, it means something different to you than it means to me. When I tell you to repent to my God, it doesn't mean something different to me than it means to you, right? It's like I'm trying to get you to do this thing specifically. All right, it's a narrowing of the focus. Where I feel love is true is the opening of your focus. It allows for thought. It doesn't constrict what is right and what is wrong, right? I'm not saying love is right, all right? I'm saying love is true. Is also information, us in the proper manner of selling our daughters. Exactly, yes, quantum chance. For if you need that information, right? The end cap is the Messiah, Jesus, who came to fulfill the law without the context of the Jewish culture and lifestyle. Jesus, who he was, just does not have the same gravity. It's true what Sam says. And like she said it very beautifully earlier, it's about the indebtedness, right? Most of our problems in reality right now, our entire financial system is built on this idea of debt, right? That you can make debt and that you can be in debt. right? And all of this sin that humanity has been sinning has been like a debt that then came to be forgiven by, as Sam said, this end cap, Messiah. Where, like, if you believe in that debt system, then it makes a lot of sense. You're like, yeah, great, I got forgiven. But if you don't believe in that debt system, right? Like, I came into this world a new entity, right? I still don't have any debt. Lucky enough for me, right? I was very careful, and I might have some debt very soon, actually, right? For the first time in my life. But it was one of those things where I don't like debt. I don't believe in it. I feel like it is, if anything, it should be something that serves you to enable you to be able to do other things later. All right, the way the debt system is built is so freaking contrived. It is the way religion is. It is coded to the social and historical workings of the people that it comes from, and it makes it hard to integrate opinions from other religions. I think that's a reductionist take. I think the premise of heaven is just one aspect of what it is in the hearts of Christians when they preach repentance. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say, Dan. I'm sorry. Do you think the golden rule applies to animals being farmed? I think it's a tragedy, Daniel, that animals are being abused in these farming environments. However, I understand that our species needs calories, right, to continue existing. I also understand that most of the animals being farmed right now would have never existed if not for the fact that we wanted to consume them. So it's this weird dichotomy of our continued consciousness is facilitated by the generating of more consciousnesses, right? Little cow consciousness. I would love to like build like media for cows as well, right? You can figure out some sort of cow VR goggle, and we can put the cows in VR pastures, right? Have them VR run around with their VR friends. I'm not even joking. I'm kind of joking, but not really. I would love for the animals to have the time of their lives, right, while they're alive. But I think it's probably just expensive to do so, right? So we're still getting there. Very, very big amounts of our protein will be grown in vats very soon, right? What was it called? Was it saline? Saline? It's basically like a protein that we can grow in vats, right? We feed it oxygen and hydrogen, and then it turns that hydrogen gas. Is it hydrogen or is it methane? Might be methane. But it basically turns gas. We split water with electricity, and then we turn that gas into literal protein. And the protein that is created has all of the essential amino acids, right? So very soon we won't need to, ideally, eat as many animals because we'll be able to produce protein in other ways. No, dude. Being taught something, internalizing it as a belief is incredibly human. It might be the most human shit ever. I don't know why we're strong-arming that one thing that I said, Dan. I think I'm ready to move on. Ain't my bad for yapping, but I'm glad we can discuss things and disagree. That's what we should be doing and find common ground on most things. I think we do that. I think we haven't been mean to each other in this space at the very least. It's scary how many Christians have actually not read the Bible, besides from the same Bible verses that they always preach and repeat. If you believe in the Bible, go read it in your free time. Respectfully. I am in complete agreement, John. All right, because it does not take you long. And I have, right? I used to be a devout Christian. I used to be the kind of Christian that would proselytize. I would go to people, strangers. I would go to strangers and start asking them if they believe in God. I would keep talking to them about God until I would ask them if they have a Bible. If they told me no, I would find them one. I literally was like that. That's literally how I was. And I was like that when I was around 7, 8, 9 to 10, right? When I started becoming a little person and started, as you said, internalizing, as you said, Dan. Because again, if that was what was human, like then I'm no longer human, right? Because I did internalize a bunch of stuff, and then when I actually became a person, that's the way I see it. That's when the questions started arising, and I no longer just accepted these things for truth. Because I don't think just accepting things for truth is a very human act. I think it's, again, NPC behavior is like you're reducing your humanity to what is the consensus instead of what is your truth, right? So I was that kid. I was pushing it. And then, as John said, when I got older, when I like got into my like 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, I actually started reading the Bible. And the more I read the Bible, the more I realized that that's not a book a child should read, right? That it's not made for kids. That book is very rough, right? Like if you could, for instance, right? If you could, every scene that happens in the Bible, if you could put that on the screen, I would not want a child in the same room of what's happening on that screen, right? Literally would not want them in the same room for a lot of the Bible, for most of the Bible, actually. I would not want them in the same room, right? And then that, like I was like, oh, this is the word of God. This is the word of God. Something so deplorable that I wouldn't want a child to see it. It changes you. Actually, reading the Bible changes a person. For example, you and I are taught about carbon dating. I can't do carbon dating. I can only sort of explain how it works. Despite that, my whole worldview is dependent on carbon dating being accurate. Is that true, Dan? Your whole worldview is based on that? It feels a little bit reductive. I follow the translation. It shows the moment of thought, culture, and so much more than words. In a book, understanding the history of writing and its movement enlightens us to our history. Yeah. Facts, Dan. It's almost, as some say, faith. Yeah. Lots and lots of faith, right? The whole carbon dating thing too. Mel, do you believe in the term of afterlife or heaven or hell? I believe there is something after life. Right, but I think heaven and hell is again a matter of perspective. Disembodied consciousness can feel like hell to someone who has become very identified with their embodied consciousness. Right, disembodied consciousness can feel like heaven to someone who has been suffering their embodied consciousness. Right, they can go to the exact same place, but from different perspectives, and they'll find themselves experience something completely differently. I have no way to verify it other than trusting in the peer-reviewed science. I was taught about carbon dating, and I internalized that information. You could be vegan for the cows. Vegan is about ethics. Yeah, I could. I could be a breatharian as well. Save all of my cash, just breathe air instead. But you do not get the macros that you need from eating vegetables. That's one thing. And also, our food budget will probably double if I had to start trying to get all of my calories in with vegetables alone. I'm glad to be able to talk and share other viewpoints, even if it's not popular in the chat. I don't think your opinions have been unpopular. I think we've been exploring the depths of how we differ. I still love you friends dearly, and I know you do as well. We do. Connor, I just call it trust, but verify. I can get pretty close, but never the whole way there. So there's always some sort of trust that I need to extend to a process or institution before I can arrive at a truth. Would not flee away from Amazonian women. I'm totally in. You gotta make crickets tasty. Crickets are not gonna be it. It's gonna be vat-grown stuff. Let me show you. What's it called? Soy line? Why do I have like some word like that in my mind? Right, we did try the insect farming thing actually. It ended up not being successful because it's so intensive to Like there's still a lot to keep track of. Huge if true. Let's see if I can find it. Whoa, they changed my shiznit. Why? Okay. I'm back to where I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, none of these are giving me what I'm looking for. There it is. There it is. Sustainable food. It's a free think video from a while ago. Let me summarize this shiznit. It's solar food. It's literally grown by a company, I think, called Solar Food. Literally, like that's their name. So it goes as such. Still thinking about it. Yeah, soylean. I was right. Solein, not Enine. Yes. The video profiles Solar Food, a Finnish startup near Helsinki that is revolutionizing food production by creating a sustainable protein called soylean directly from air and electricity. The company's mission is to disconnect the global food systems from our traditional agriculture to reduce the massive environmental impact caused by animal farming and large-scale crop production. How it works. The process takes place in a fermenter, similar to how beer or wine is made. Yet, instead of sugar, the microorganisms are fed hydrogen. I was right about that. Produced from water, split by electricity, and carbon dioxide that's captured directly from the air. The result is the output is a dried yellow powder that is 65% protein by weight, 5% fatty acids, and the other 15% is dietary fibers. And then it has various minerals in it. The colors, it's like a yellow color. It comes from the beta-carotene. Sustainability. Soylean is described as the most sustainable food ever created, with an environmental footprint about 1/10 that of plant-based proteins, and just 1% impact of traditional meat. Because the process relies on electricity and air, it can be scaled and operated everywhere, including in extreme environments like deserts or isolated islands or even in space. Soylean is designed with a neutral flavor, allowing it to be integrated into everyday foods like noodles or breads or dairy or meat alternatives rather than being consumed as a raw powder. Yeah. How long will this take to actually be on market? Because this is a four-year-old video. Don't say. There is a pilot side stage. Nice. There is a pilot side stage. So yeah, that is probably going to be the future of how we get a lot of our protein. And I'm stoked. I'm freaking stoked about that. We gotta make crickets tasty. They're easy to farm and can get loads of them with healthy veggies that we don't want to eat. Yeah, the cool thing about this is you don't need veggies. You literally need electricity. You can have a site that has solar up top of it, right? That drills a hole into the ground for groundwater and then just sucks the air, because the air contains a certain percentage of carbon. And you just pump it into those tanks. That's what I did with my bearded dragon to get him to eat his veggies. Get the crickets to eat a bunch of veggies and then feed the crickets to him. I've watched all the Futurama. I've watched that shit when it was brand new. I remember the trailer for the episode. Futurama is so good. Protein, aminos come from plants. Thanks for talking about the animals. Yeah. Again, you have to eat so much plant mass to actually get all of your protein in. And I don't know if you know, but there are consequences thereof. I have to head out, friends. I hope I wasn't too heavy-handed, just to share my thought and experience. Blessed to have the space with you friends and Melt. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you, bro. Sending you love and the rest of your day too. Yeah, Melt, very similar. I grew up in a Christian family. Went to school for a few years, started reading the Bible young, and the Bible is metal as fuck. But yeah, I don't know about reading it as a kid. No. No, it's like literally like a horror story. It's like the most deplorable acts in humanity, the most ridiculous, future predictions, like horrifying future predictions. It's not a cool book. Tunes, love having you here. I think we're planning on being in your neck of the woods in August, and we should meet up. That would be fun. When can we learn to do carbon dating, and how is your whole worldview wrapped around carbon dating? Yeah, I think it's one of those things where carbon dating is how people have come to the conclusion that our Earth is older than the biblical account, right? And to some people, that's like a very important part of their belief, where, like Earth has to be older, right? I don't have to have things carbon dated personally for me to believe what I believe. Markiplier with curly hair, sick. I'm so in, Joe, let me know, cause I have a few weddings around then, but I'd love to find a time. I'll hit you up on Discord, do so. I grew up Christian too. I remember a lot of it. I don't remember a lot of it anymore. I just remember one night when I was around 10, I had a really bad existential crisis and I became atheist after that. It's interesting that that also happened to you. I was not 10. It happened to me when I was around 13, right? But I also had an existential crisis. And in my existential crisis, I begged. I pleaded, I prayed for like hours, literally hours, to no avail. And then after that, I put it down. I was like, you know what? Actually, no. No more. Yes, absolutely. A huge portion of humanity's history comes from the information found in the rock records. The timeline of the rock record is determined via carbon dating. Yeah, it's important. It's important, but it's not the whole picture. I am Christian currently, and you are welcome in this space as well, Germany 8130. Right on, it's gonna be a whole vibe. If carbon dating were shown to be inaccurate, that whole timeline falls apart. And I don't care. Still here, I fell asleep and got a call and just woke up. Welcome back again, Nancy. I like that you say currently, Germany. You've always identified this way. Joe Bot, to answer that, I didn't really know a lot about Christianity, but I do believe in Christianity now. There you go. Some growth has happened in your side. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. You don't use carbon to understand rocks. Am I reading? But you don't use carbon to understand rocks. Am I reading this wrong? Did you dream meanwhile? So any of us who claim to believe the current conclusion about human history over the last 5,000 years need carbon dating to be true. I'm still a beginner. When we find documents such as the Dead Sea Scrolls, for example, we take samples of the rocks and the sediment next to it and carbon date it to get an idea of how old that document is. You cannot carbonate rocks. There is carbon in the rocks. If there was plant material or other living material, there during its formation. Indigo, do you want a cookie? Carbon dating only works on once living things. Rocks are dated using radiometric dating, like uranium, lead, or potassium, argon. Yeah, seeing how much they've decayed. Exactly, Combat. Exactly, Darren. You can absolutely take soil samples and carbon date them. I want a cookie. I also want to scream. This is the only acceptable way to do this. We're now splitting hairs and digressing from the point. Carbon dating is used to date all kinds of things, and the historical record relies on those dates. So if carbon dating is proved unreliable, our whole understanding of human history is upended. It's pretty simple. I don't really think I think it's again one of those things where like even the speed of light, right? There's like some variation in the speed of light, apparently. Like there's not exactly consensus 100%. And the speed of light is different depending on the conditions around it. right? So I don't think it changes anything really relatable. The larger point is that all truth is predicated on a series of assumptions. If they have a reason to believe there was material of life in the soil from around that time, they would take samples to be identified. For instance, at Giza, they dated a piece of wood they found. It's not about caring, Melt, it's about truth. And the truth is that everything is predicated on assumptions. I don't know about that, dude. Everything? Everything is a pretty broad term, right? Everything is pretty broad. It's a little bit broad for me. Doesn't matter to me how old the Earth is. At all, really. Because again, we're a species of amnesia. If somebody had to come and tell me, right, definitively, this is how old the Earth is, then maybe I'd like want reason, right? For instance, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, right? The reason we've come to that conclusion is because, as Dan said, because of our carbon dating. But 4.5 billion years, if it ends up it's like only 5 billion years, or if it ends up it's only like 500 million years, that doesn't make a difference to the truth of the fact that we've been here for way longer than we can know, right? That's still the underlying thing. You can't date documents like the Dead Sea Scrolls based on the age of the rocks they were buried near. Yes, you can, quantum. That's literally how we date things. I feel like this a lot. No, Dan Gray. The rock has no relation to the document or its creation. The logic is flawed. You don't need to date the carbon in the document itself. You would need to date the carbon in or the ink. No, quantum, you're not correct. Things that are buried near each other are buried roughly around the same time, which is why, again, the entire science community relies on that method to date things. I think what he's saying is still kind of right, Dan, because even if you take a bunch of old rock and you bury something new in that old rock, it doesn't suddenly give you any clear indication of how old that document is, right? You have to test the actual document. Then I can tell you that by your structuring this, that you're just repeating things that you've heard as well. It's not your own understanding. Yeah, thank you, MeltMore. Thank you, Quantum Chance. Like, I'm not trying to defend carbon dating right now. Again, it's more belief. It's more things that we have to believe in. All I know with absolute certainty is that we're here right now, right? All of us are here right now. And how old this place is of very little consequence, I think, to your life, right? If you're using a document to believe certain things, right, it's not your own belief. I stopped believing in Christianity because there were logical fallacies, right? Not because they claimed the earth was only 6,000 years old, right? That's not the information that got me to change, right? That is today's stream topic, is how a moment can change you. I didn't get changed in a moment by getting taught that the earth is actually older than the biblical account. That wasn't the deciding factor for me. For me, personally, the deciding factor was logical fallacies, right? Is this perpetuating of this is what we believe, and then seeing that there is still ways in which it doesn't seem to be aligning, right? That, God is all good. Like, one of the big ones, this is one of the biggest ones that I had some issue with, is the fact that God gave Lucifer domain over the earth. You know that? Let's find a little piece. Can you please find the piece in the Bible that talks about God giving Satan domain over the earth? Let's see what the exact line was. Yeah. So in Luke 4, verse 5 to 7, it goes, This is the closest the Bible comes to stating this authority was given, or in the words of the Bible, delivered to Satan. During the temptations in the wilderness, Satan shows Jesus all the kingdom of the world. And the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time, and said to him, "To you I will give all of this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. And will worship me, it will all be yours." So that means that technically the earth is Satan's. All right, according to the Bible. 2, Jesus calls Satan the ruler of the world. In the Gospel of John, Jesus explicitly refers to Satan as the functional ruler of the current earthly order 3 distinctive times, in John 12, in John 14, and in John 16. John 12, verse 31, "Now is the judgment of this world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out," Satan. Then, 14, verse 30, "I will no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming, and he has no claim on me." And then the last one is concerning judgment, because the ruler of this world is already judged. The God of this world, 2 Corinthians. The Apostle Paul takes a step further in this letter to Corinthians, describing the sheer scale of Satan's spiritual influence over humanity. In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the believers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ. Then the power of air, Ephesians 2 verse 2. Paul also refers to the pervasive cultural and spiritual influence of evil shaping human society, calling Satan the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. So yeah, right, on that level alone, I was like so confused as a kid, where I'm like, why would God give the earth to Satan? Like, why would he do that? All right, and it just did not make sense to me. And I couldn't continue to believe. I was like, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make much sense to me at all that it would be such a way. Civilizations could have risen and fallen, forgotten with resets because of the age of the earth. Absolutely. Muskan, hello to you too. Welcome. You said you can't date a rock when almost all rocks contain some form of carbon. You can date them, you just don't get the information you need. Combat somehow intentionally misinterprets people. Why he keeps getting banned. Carbon dating seems like then the topic. Carbon dating is a method that still requires a known control, so you need to know what the half-life of the isotope that you're looking for is. It needs to be present in the material in question. If they find a bone inside of a rock, they're carbon dating. It doesn't tell me to look up something when you don't know me. Again, same way, stubbornness in the chat. You don't know me. All right, I've read the messages still. I don't think anything was said there that was attacking anybody directly at the very least, but I think it's one of those things where this is a complex topic that I don't know if we'll be able to really understand or explain the nuance in the YouTube chat necessarily. There have been many wacky nuts throughout the Earth's history with their domains to rule. Also understand why people believe the Bible is the be-all, end-all for truth. Never understood why people believe the Bible. I think it's because of the momentum behind it. The reality is the universe is far more mysterious, yes, and unexplainable than our tiny minds could ever invent some magical god to fill in or substitute for. Agreed. It's so clearly insecure. Let's get grounded, y'all. I think that's the best thing we can do right now. The universe is seriously weird. Like, who the hell would ever think to create the plethora of good and bad, the random crazy stuff? I'd say some god seems like a cop-out. Yeah, it's like the easiest explanation. We do not know what's going on, and that's fascinating. I'm going to do some breathing, Joe. That's the best thing we can do right now. Hello, how are you? Amaya, I'm doing good. Taking big, long breaths. Hell yeah, Darren. It's a good day to have a good day. I'm gonna take this breath and utilize it for some good. Yeah, that's the best thing that we can hope for, right? It takes a moment. It takes a moment for you to change. And when that change comes, it does seem to be hopeful, right? I'd like to believe at least. I do find myself hopeful in those moments where I go from being resistant to realizing the good there is. Right? And I think the same can be said for religious beliefs as well. Right? I do find myself very resistant to believing stuff like that. But I can also acknowledge and understand that other people have come to the conclusions they have based on their own experiences. This space is one where we understand that there is nuance. Lots and lots of nuance. Hey, welcome. What's up with you? The Way of Park. Oh, Mel doesn't even know who I am. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My brains is so wide. I can hold multiple different aliases. Life feels so nice. People like you who are optimistic and always have a smile on their face. Amaya. It's important for us to remain optimistic, right? There's enough darkness out in the world for a lifetime. So I'm going to spend my life at my time bringing light into it instead. All I know is that things are respectful here, and then sometimes someone enters chat and it becomes contentious and anxiety-inducing. It does have that effect sometimes, Sam friend. But I think it's one of those things where it's very much up to us to not let ourselves get into a spiral. Today's stream topic still remains very apt at the forefront of my mind. Right? Thinking about the way, the moment things change. Thinking about the moments things change for me. I had to start believing in myself. Right? That's all I know to be true. I had to start believing in myself in order to dig myself out of the hole of hopelessness that I found myself within. Because praying didn't seem to help, right? And I'm a very practical person, right? I think like an engineer. I'd like to believe, right? If I try and apply a solution to a problem and the problem remains problematic, then the solution needs to be changed. And I tried to apply the solution of prayer, of faith, of repentance, right? And that solution tried to be applied over and over again. And it's as you said, it just was anxiety inducing because I was confused as to why it wasn't working. Why was I not receiving God's wisdom, right? Why wouldn't God talk to me? I would ask as a kid, like, why? Why not? Like, actually, why not? God talks about talking to people all the time in the Bible, so why not me? And then when I started believing that it's actually up to me, right, that I need to be the entity that I'm praying for. I need to be that person in the world, right? That's when everything changed for me. It was a moment, that changed me. Right? And I went from one state of faith to a next state of being. Right? Realizing that I don't have to have faith in my own existence. Right? And I don't have to have faith to know that my existence can be a good thing to those around me. Right? And I feel like that makes it easier for me, trying to reduce the anxiety drivers. We are energy alchemists, and energy is recycled. We take it in and we turn it into whatever we choose. It just wasn't at all what Dan was trying to say. Yeah, he was trying to talk about like believing, right? That there is a certain faith in that as well. It's the provocation that is brought here to the stream because of a young age. Is the provocation that is brought here to the stream because of a young age? I don't know. I think it's more so than anything, Nancy. That's the way that I've been trying to understand it. Provocation comes from a place of almost like starting something, right? It's like you start pushing a little wheel, right? And then spinning that wheel can be fun. Like imagine you're a kid and you're at the playground and then there's one of those little spinny things, right? Like getting people on that spinny thing with you and then everybody like adds momentum to it so it can spinny fast. It's kind of fun, right? And as adults, I think we do the same thing when it comes to our verbal narratives as well, right? It's just a spinny. He misinterpreted. I don't think it helps for us to now perpetuate the misinterpretation continuing forward. How do you not remember? I do remember Parkway. That's what I said. I was just joking. Do you know a Chris Whaley? He is a maintenance trades helper. No, I don't actually know Chris Whaley. Maintenance trades. I don't even know what that is. And then he comes right back. Praying helps some to focus their thoughts on the good. If praying works for you, keep doing it. If meditation works, keep doing it. If it's a placebo, who cares? If it helps you be better. Agreed. As someone who has been even recently kicked for being disruptive and disrespectful, can any of y'all recall me hopping one of my many other Google accounts to come back into this space? Again, if you wanted to do that, Dan, I encourage you to, in fact, right? If you can come back into this space with one of your other Google accounts and you can just be, right, present of the conversation that's being had, I think that would also be okay. It's just a matter of like choosing to show up with a good intention. Then keep getting better, be better for others just as you would for yourself. There's some Ram Dass wisdom weaved into that. Of course not. I have my issues, but I'm not. However, these things can be called out. Dan, I don't disagree with you. Yeah. Yes. Where's your wife today? Missing her already. Me too, Amaya. I don't know, ask Mel. Okay, yeah. I think like we're all adults here. Most of us. Most of the people that do engage in full sentences here are adults, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't change the fact that we like going on merry-go-rounds. Combat said he remembered seeing a trailer for the Amazon Women episode on Futurama that was over 20 years ago. He's an adult and fully aware what he was doing. Yeah, Amaya, he's here today. He's just in the office. She's here today. She's just in the office pretending to work. What? No way, man. Remember reading the room. If you got kicked by a mod, read the room. Yeah, like again, Dan, I've given you, like I remember very thoroughly, like some of the days that you've been banned. I literally even encouraged you, like if you want to be in this space, because this space is for everyone, right? It really is for everyone, including the people that hate me as well, right? Like I welcome them into this space as well. It's just a matter of like disruptiveness. I think we were kind of having a conversation about the whole carbon dating thing. And I feel like it is one of those nuanced things, right? Maybe he saw an opening, right? That's the way that I'm trying to interpret as well, where you saying something is definitive as, I believe in this, and if this wasn't true, then everything else I believe in might not be true as well. And I think that's like a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a situation ripe for debate, or right, maybe someone has fun in poking fun at that part of it. I mean, like, hey, maybe you are wrong. I would never come back here after getting booted. It's about respect. I appreciate it. Then I thought, oh, okay. I believe the incorrectness boils him. It also blinds him from seeing what someone was actually trying to say. Right, Nancy? Because he operates like one. I can be childish too. Persistence. Yeah, I disagree, Darren. He goes into these conversations with certainly not curiosity, and his goal is to establish social superiority via being correct, not to explore a topic. Yeah. In moments like these, right, I find myself kind of like wondering if we feel the way we do, right, and we want to say the things that we want to say about it, that kind of feels like wanting to be correct as well. Right? It feels like the same thing, just in different degrees of intensity. I don't know that I'm right about anything that I said today. Who am I to believe that I'm right? Right? I could be smited down by the religious gods right now, all of them collectively. Be sent straight to hell, right? And then come back here and then let your friends know, oh my goodness, hell is real, or something. Right? That could happen too. But instead of occupying my mind with these what ifs, instead, I like to find myself present. This card is blue. It's gonna be a blue Tuesday. I have seen him be part of the convos, Dan. Then he can just spiral. Kind of feels like me sometimes. You see, I see that too, Darren. That's the part of me that wants to like hold compassion out for this fellow person. Because sometimes you're just like in the vibe, right? And then someone says something, maybe about carbon dating, that you might have like explored with your curiosity, and then it suddenly triggers this thing in you, like, hey, now I have to say something because I've spent some time thinking about it. And then we want to be right in the same way with religion. I think that's kind of the point of today's conversation, is that it happens even if you're not religious. It happens to everybody. And here we go with the false equivalency. All right, then. The neutrality in the presence of a clear instigator is gross. I see you believing that, Dan. You've believed that now for a while. It's something that you've said to me many times. I have to be neutral. That's my job in this space, right? That's literally my job, Dan, right? Again, there's people that came into this space. You came into this space with a trolling vibe, right? And if I was being just, what's the word? If I picked sides, right? If I decided that there's a right way and a wrong way to engage with this space, then I wouldn't have tolerated trolling, right? I would have been like, no trolling, only talking about serious stuff in this space forever, right? But because I don't do that, I allow for room for growth. I allow for room for there to be a reading of the room to occur, even if it takes time, even if it takes a little bit of time. What if you try to fail? I think I might have missed some context. Oh, there we go. Do care for me. Nothing works for me. Whenever I try, whatever I try, I fail. Pix Vox. Let's pull a card. I'm holding space for everyone in this space. Case in point. Yeah, agreed. You were on all messages, Melt? I don't know even. Have I been on all messages? I am now. And suddenly, all of my messages are gone. No, I don't have any messages whatsoever. I'm going to quickly exit out and come back. Yeah, now I don't have any messages, yo. That's strange. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, my messages are just gone. I can't see any of them. I'll try again. Well, that's a problem. Let me try on this one. There we go. Call for a blue card. False equivalency. I think it's easy to spiral when intellect is challenged. I'm hella capable of it. I don't want to sound dumb, but I definitely am dumb sometimes, and that makes me energetic. Oh, I agree, Dan. I don't think that there's space for where that went. You guys remember what I said about religious folks internalizing their perspectives and then getting agitated when confronted about it? Case in point. And indeed, I agree. You're in all messages. I am now. Melt, I never knew that about you being neutral and your intention. It's like holding space. All right. Not having messages on the screen is kind of strange. It's holding space. It's in believing that there is a reason that people find themselves here. Right? And there's a reason that someone would want to come back. That this space clearly holds conscious evolution. Right? And if I was not neutral, if I was to say, you know, this person is ultimately wrong and they'll never be allowed in this space ever again, right? Then I wouldn't be living by the principles of love is true, right? I simply wouldn't be, because that wouldn't be right, right? If I lived by those principles, Dan would not be allowed back in this space, right? That's the point that I make, Dan. That if I was, in the way you said, not being neutral, right? That I was not being gross. The presence of a clear instigator. Neutrality in the presence of a clear instigator is gross. You've done that. You've been an instigator. And I was pretty neutral, I think, with you as well, right? Because that's what has allowed you to come back into the space, be welcomed by our community, right? If I had to draw these hard lines, and sometimes I do, sometimes it becomes clear to me that there is only bad faith, right? That there's only hatred, right, on the other side. I don't see that from Combat Journey. I don't see hatred. I just see a person who enjoys having debate, right? And this is not necessarily the space for that. And I feel like when it becomes directed at a certain person in the space, it can become very sensitive, right? However, I didn't see any direct attacks towards the character of a person at the very least. And I think that might be happening the other way around. All messages. I am now. All I did was fail, and I want to take a minute to hype up a friend of ours. All I did was fail until Mr. Ryan gave me a chance. I'm so thankful to the soul of yoga. I didn't know who I was until that. That's so wholesome. Yeah, some good stuff. Blue dabba dee dabba die. I need to pull a blue card very soon. Holding space, letting people go through what they've got to go through with grace and compassion. Holding the space totally makes sense. Yeah, I am a very, very hard person to deal with in general. I was exceptionally hard to deal with when I was in my teenage years, right? And if I didn't have people in my life that held space for me to be a little bit contrarian, then I probably would have become a social outcast. I would have probably not consciously evolved in the ways that I have. But because I've been given the space to grow, I have, right? And I'd like to believe that this space is like that for every single person that finds themselves here as well. If I live by those principles, we recognize as a team that more harm has been done to the group than we could justify, and that removal was temporary. They all are. Agreed. If you find yourself feeling tipped off balance or triggered, it's an opportunity to practice maintaining the integrity of your personhood. Everyone on that list is capable of making a new name and getting a new start here, every single one. Agreed, right? And I welcome it. I really do. I really do welcome it. Jovan, I think it's significant if people even recognize that they're being triggered. Boundaries are put in place in a healthy way to maintain that integrity sometimes. It's so true, Nancy. It's not as easy a thing to recognize when we're spiraling into a trigger. That energy can be so magnetizing. Yeah. It's not a bad thing to ponder what someone else is thinking or sharing that goes against what you believe to be true. It gives you room to learn and to gain perspective. That's what we're here to do, isn't it, Tomo? We're here to consciously evolve, and you can only consciously evolve by gaining more perspective, right? I'd like to believe. Gaining perspective on how to be and how not to be, right? Growing slowly but surely. What would we do without swagger, though? Yes. What if? Are we gonna pull a blue card? We got John Mon predicting blue for us today. Is somebody gonna tell me when to stop? Swag-girth. Let me see. Somebody tell me when to stop. Somebody stop me, please. Get swag. I'm looking at chat. Chat is being looked at. Stop. That's blue, yo. That's blue. What am I supposed to say? That's a blue card if I've ever seen one. That is as blue gets. This is, I think, the most blue card. This is like the bluest card in the whole deck. One drop is all there is. What a card to pull today. Damn. So delicious. Yes. Yes, this is literally the card. Don't be afraid. Witchcraft! Witchcraft, I'm no danger to you. You are not in danger, dear friend. These cards will not hurt you. They're not here to tell your future. They're not here to predict what your life is going to become. This card is just going to offer a little prayer by Rumi. I have but one small drop of knowing in my ocean. No, I have but one small drop of knowing. Let it dissolve into your ocean. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good card. The knower. Call him the knower. Yeah? He knew twice in a row. That's some pretty good odds, bro. That's some pretty good odds. I celebrate it anyways. Every time you run through the cards, I think about the song they play on Jeopardy. That's hilarious. One day, we'll have like a whole audio team. Card number 1. The first card in the whole deck. Damn. Look at that. It's a circle. Right? Right? You're not scared of circles, are you? That's all that this is. It's talking about the circle. Look at it. There it is in the middle. One drop. One drop is all there is. What a pretty card. So pretty. I like it. Calm amid chaos. That is the core theme, right? Isn't that apt with today's stream topic as well? Calm amid chaos, 3 times in a row. Purple, then green, then blue. You're right. You have to keep coming back to nowhere. See how long you can keep your streak up. In accordance with unity and spirit, the circle represents a beginning that has no end. It is ever-expanding potential and represents our connection with the holographic nature of oneness. We live in a world that at times feels overpowering and chaotic. It is easy to get caught up in the wild ride of emotional waves that feel as if they are out of your control, about to crash in upon you. Quantum physics views matter as a wave structure of space reality that is both continuous and discrete, both local and non-local. Sometimes it's all too much to handle. You are the one drop that sits in the center of this circle and of your own reality. It is within this quiet place that you have the potential to experience calm amidst the chaos of modern-day existence. Choosing this card suggests that you enter the golden circle and feel its potential. Create for yourself a place of calm where you may be quiet, meditate, and remove yourself from the demands that consume your time and aggravate your emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. Remove yourself for a while from the chaos, allowing and knowing that in this still, calm place, one drop is all there is. View the rest of your life from this relaxed, tranquil, and composed place. And here's the little prayer. I have one small drop of knowing in my soul. Let it dissolve in your ocean. A little Rumi poem prayer. I have one small drop of knowing in my soul. Let it dissolve in your ocean. There is no separating ourselves. We can only understand that there is one small drop of knowing that we have. One world, not 3. I thank you, friends, for joining me in this moment and today. It's a pleasure. Really is a pleasure getting to spend these moments with you, to consider exactly what it is we are. We are not religious talking heads. We are people. We are more than our ability to regurgitate the same talking points. We are people. We are more than our inability or ability to understand, because we are people. Our brains are but a small part of our total experience, and I value your spirit, the part of you that continues beyond this experience. It takes but a moment to change in that way. Happens just like that. I thank you, friends, for remaining here in this present moment with me. Nope, we are not doing politics today. No, exactly. No politicus. Hey, dear friends, I care for you a bunch, and I think about you guys outside of this space. Always wishing you well. Blessings and oneness to all of you, friends. Remember that you are one. That you cannot separate yourself from the totality that you are. No, Mel, I'm not one. Yes. Yes, you are. Oh, Melt, but I'm like here as myself. Yeah? Is there multiple of you? No, there's just the one of me. Ah, okay. And what is it that you're breathing? Oh, I'm breathing air. Uh-huh. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Where's the air from? How's the air being kept on our planet? Oh, atmosphere. Ah, cool, cool, cool. Atmosphere, yes. And how many atmospheres is there? Oh, one. All right, cool, cool. One atmosphere. So there's one of you, and there's one thing that it is you're breathing, right? And every person that considers themselves one of themselves is breathing one of this thing, right? There's this one earth that we all find ourselves existing within. If you remove yourself from this unity, you die, right? If you take your little body off the planet and now suddenly you're in the void of space somewhere, dead, right? So the way that you continue being one is by being one with everything, right? It's not as clear that that's what's happening, but that is what we're having, all of us collectively. And it's as one of those friends said, as soon as we realize that we're all on the same team, maybe there will be some good things coming of it. In the meantime, I value you friends for being a part of the team on the good side. I love y'all. I miss my spanner. The shield is pretty cool, but the spanner was definitely cooler. Agreed. I appreciate you friends, and I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day, one filled with joy and blessings and kindness and presence and moments that change you for the better. Make you feel that sense of hopefulness, like, yay, maybe, maybe there is hope for humanity. Just maybe. Thank you, friends, for bringing hope into me. I appreciate you for being here today, and I'll see you again very soon, tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Peace. Cheers.